Hey guys, so about a year ago, I created the Simon puzzle tutorial, and it's had a lot of views and a lot of people create the puzzle and shown it to me, and it's great that I'm getting to see all that. But I've learned a lot in this past year. I have released a game with the indie studio that I work for called Wise Old Owl Productions, um, and in doing that, during that time, I kind of got my feet thrown directly into the fire and I learned a lot. It was very much a sink or swim type situation, and I feel like I'm swimming pretty well. So I want to pass on a lot of that knowledge that I've gained in the last year with you guys. And since recently I've been getting a lot of questions about the Simon puzzle and a lot of people saying that they're having some difficulties with it and stuff like that, I thought this would be a great time to revisit it and to recreate it in a different way that might be a lot easier for you guys. I'm not sure. I think it's a much cleaner way of doing it. So without further ado, I'll show you guys what I've got. But for those of you that remember the original puzzle, it was all one solid chunk. This one is in different pieces, nice and separate and much easier to use. Basically all of the main logic is inside of this puzzle piece here called the puzzle main. And then we have each of these stands that are a copy of each other, and you can just change them dynamically, change whatever color that you want, change out the sound, all that good stuff. The emissive is just a change between 0 and 1 on the intensity. So it's very, very easy and it's just one material basically. But yeah, without further ado, well, actually, I guess I could show you the puzzle for those of you that haven't seen the puzzle before. Basically, it is a, like the kids game Simon, where it would play some notes at you and you repeat it. So this was purple, purple, yellow. And since I beat the level, the door opened, or quote unquote deleted. But yeah, and you'll also notice that in this one we have, we have a nice overlay. Whenever it's my turn to play, I can look at the these guys and it lights up nice and bright for us. Yeah. So without further ado, I'm going to get into how to build this thing. This will be a multi-part video or series because it is a lot of information. So the very first video, this one, will be all about how to set everything up. We're going to open up whatever version of Unreal you're running. I'm running 5.3.2. This should still work for any version in the future unless they immensely change how Unreal works, but we'll see. So I'm gonna go games, and the original one was a third-person version, or a first-person version. I kind of want to go third-person on this one, but you know what? No, let's keep it simple. Let's go first person. My prototype was in first person. We'll just keep it first person. So I'm just going to call this Simon underscore YT for YouTube for me. And I'm going to hit create. Oh, also I have starter content enabled. That's just because I like the shapes and stuff that come from it. It does add an extra gig to your project. So just be aware of that. If you don't have the space or you have space concerns, you might opt to not use it. But anyways, let's get the Simon guy going. I'm gonna adjust the scene really fast. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the directional light, which actually should be this guy right here. I'm gonna hit E to rotate and just kind of rotate it up about 40 degrees, get ourselves a nice sunset, and basically just so that our emissives will show up a little bit better and I don't have to worry about explaining intensities and stuff. Which, I mean, honestly, there's not much to explain. And higher intensity means stronger emissive. But yeah, let's start creating everything. I'm gonna delete this stuff real quick. Cool, level set up, done. All right, inside of our content folder, I'm gonna right click, new folder. I'm gonna call this underscore main. I'm gonna open that up, right click, new folder, blueprints. Again, right click, new folder, materials. And last but not least, new folder, sounds. Okay, inside of the blueprint, I'm going to right click, new folder, interfaces. And we're going to create two interfaces, blueprint interface right here. I'm going to call this BPI interact. And then the other one, blueprint interface, BPI player. Open up the interact one. And inside of there, we're just going to have one called on interact. We're going to pass in the actor that is interacting with it. Just going to say actor. And then I'm going to take this and select it, press Control D to duplicate. And this will be on look at. And same thing, we're going to pass in the actor. Cool. Save that, close it, don't need it anymore. Yay. And then we're going to open up the player. And in here, I'm just going to say get player info. And in here, we can add in whatever info we want. I'm just going to do the first person character object reference. I'll just call this the character reference. This is basically to get around casting. For those of you who don't know, casting can get very expensive because basically it leaves that blueprint open. And so anywhere that we can cut out casting, we will, just to help with the overall performance of our game. It's a great habit to be in, so I suggest like learning it, if that makes sense. All right, in our materials folder now, I'm gonna right click, material, I'm gonna call this M_color. Okay, open that up. I'm going to grab our color here. I'm gonna hold 3 and left click, or you know, we could actually do it like this. Just right click on base color, promote to parameter. I am gonna just name this color because I don't like the space and base color. And then I'm gonna set a default here with this selected on the side. Also make sure that the alpha is set to 1 right here, or do it here, either way. You guys can play with the metallic and specular and all that good stuff of it. Actually, I think I will add you know what, let's make all these parameters. Metallic, right click, promote, specular, right click, promote, roughness. And for the metallic, and I'm gonna go 0.5, and the roughness, I think I'm gonna go 0.25. Yeah, I like that. It's better than what I had in my prototype. And specular, we'll just leave it 0. Cool. I'm saying cool a lot today for whatever reason. I have no idea. Right. Sounds. I'm going to grab the sounds that I want, which I think I have a folder here. Yep. I think I can make these available because I got them from a MIDI player, so I don't see how they would be owned by anybody. I'll have to look into that. If I'm able to share these things, I will. But guys, freesound.org, great resource for sounds. Go there and grab yourself different notes or whatever that you're wanting, or get a MIDI player really fast and just record it. Okay, so I'm gonna pull these guys in, and that's literally all you can do. These are WAV files, .wav or .wav, however you want to call it. And I'm just gonna drag them in, and there we go. There's our guys. So really, really, really fast, we're gonna set up some stuff for this as well. I'm gonna right click, go to audio, go to sound attenuation, and this will be our Simon underscore, I'm gonna say ATTN for attenuation. I'm gonna open it up, and I'm gonna go find our enable volume attenuation, our inner radius, I'm gonna set to 200, and our fall off distance about 1200. And the idea of that, so if I was to make a cue for one of these, I can kind of show you. You don't have to follow along with this part. But if I was to set the cue and the attenuation to our Simon, and bring this cue into our world, make sure I can see game. There we go. You'll notice that we have this really big area out here and a smaller area here. So basically anything inside of this smaller sphere will sound about the same in volume, and then anything out towards the edges of the bigger sphere will get further and further and further and further away sounding, so just quieter and quieter until you're outside of the volume where you just can't hear. it at all. So that's basically what we're going to be doing. We will go ahead and create a queue for each one of these. So basically the way I did that is I right clicked and I hit create queue. I'm gonna do that for the next one, my French horn, create queue. I'm gonna open that up. I'm going to click attenuation. And then I'm gonna put the Simon attenuation in there. Next one for my C, create queue, open. So we have a queue for each one of these, just making sure. All right. So now we need to make 2 new blueprints. So I'm back in the blueprints folder. Oh, actually, let's go to our first person. Is it first person? Yeah. Our first person folder, go to blueprints, open up the first person character. So by double clicking on it, we're going to go to class settings here. And we're going to implement our player, our BPI player. You'll notice that I'm going to delete the gun. We don't need it. All right. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. Cool. So we have a queue for each one of these, just making sure. All right. So now we need to make 2 new blueprints. So I'm back in the blueprints folder. Oh, actually, let's go to our first person. Is it first person? Yeah. Our first person folder, go to blueprints, open up the first person character. So by double clicking on it, we're going to go to class settings here. And we're going to implement our player, our BPI player. You'll notice that gives us this little drop down here and interfaces. We can open it up and do get player info. And I created that incorrectly. Cool. So I'm gonna delete that really fast, compile, save. Go back to our blueprints folder up here, interfaces, go back to our BPI player. And instead of having it as an input, I'm gonna delete that. We're gonna have it as an output. And remember that was a first person character output. And I'm gonna name it the character reference. There we go. So then back inside the first person character, make sure to compile again, and it should give you a different version of this interface. Now we can double click on it, and now it's a function that's asking for a return value. So we can just pull off of that and get our self, and now we're passing through our self, which is great. All right, I can close the BPI player. And now, oh, no, back in, sorry, I want the character still, close that. Blueprints, open the character again. In the event graph, we need to camera input left, right. Where is our, do we not have a begin play? We don't, okay, cool. That'll be there. Let's do a custom event. So right click, type custom event, and let's call this search or let's just do, let's call it look at. I think that's fine. Look at. With a lowercase t, because that's going to bother me. And during this look at, what we're going to do is a line trace by channel. And if you guys are wanting a third person version of this, let me know and I will help out with that. I don't know if I'll make a video, but you guys can jump in the Discord. Maybe that'll be a Patreon thing that I do, a third person version. And it honestly would just be changing one little bit of how we do this part. So we're gonna get the first person camera. We're going to get its world location. We're going to get its forward vector. Okay, and then we're going to plug in our world location as the start. We're gonna get the forward vector, which basically is just saying, hey, which way are they facing? It'll be a 0 or 1 or 0 to 1. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have no idea what it says. Just kidding. Here, I can print it out. for you guys so I can kind of explain it a little bit better. Because I've had a lot of questions on how to set up these line traces properly. And so I really want to pass this knowledge on to you guys. And now let's do this just for right now on event tick. And let's plug that in there right now. So you'll notice that with like X over there, we have a 0.9, and the further I look left, it's going down, 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 and our Y is going higher and higher. Well, technically going down, but it's a negative number, so you get the idea. Depending on which way we're looking, and then even our up and our down changing at all times. So it's basically finding out which way is forward. And so once we have an idea of which way it's forward, what we can do is we can say, okay, going in that direction, starting at the player or at the camera, going in that direction, we want to go so far. So what we're gonna do is multiply. We're gonna get a float, and we're gonna say how far, and this is gonna be in centimeters. So let's say like 300. And then we're going to add that to our current location to get our endpoint. And so if we do this for one frame, and again, I'm going to just plug our event tick in there so I can show you guys. As I'm looking around, you can kind of see it, the little dot. That dot is looking anywhere we're looking. So if we look at this, it's drawing a line from our character in the direction that we are currently looking. And it's only going so far. So about that far. All right. And so that's how we find out, or we draw that line and we find out what's there. Are we going to intersect anything? So if that line, let's say, intersects with this guy, we can then get a lot of information from it and ask it a whole bunch of questions. If it passes all those questions, then we can tell it to do stuff or whatever, right? All right. So that's what we want to know is that line intersecting with anything? And if it is, then we want to find out what exactly is it intersecting with or hitting. And we can find out, okay, if it's whatever actor it's hitting. Sorry, and by the way, guys, I held B left click to get a branch. And so if this is hitting something, true, right? Then we want to find out, does that guy implement our interact interface? And if it does, then we want to tell it that we're looking at it. I said I wasn't going to do any logic today, and I got off script. I told you guys. I told you I'd get off script. But yeah, we have the look at thing done. I'm gonna do one more thing because it's kind of part of the setup. Recording, right? Okay, good. We're at 18 minutes, so if I do this really fast, we can get it done. Okay, so now we're gonna go to inputs really fast, and I'm gonna go into actions. I'm going to take the shoot here, and I'm just gonna hit Control D to duplicate it, and I'm gonna call this IA interact. Okay, I'm gonna open this up so that if you're following along with a different character, you can kind of see what the difference is. Basically, all that's happened is we've added a trigger here of type pressed. That's it. Okay, inside the map, or sorry, inside of the input, here it is. We want to get this IMC default. We're going to hit the drop down on this, hit the plus, and find our IA interact. Hit the drop down on that, and then you select this keyboard, and then we can just press whatever key it is that we're wanting to utilize for that. So I'm gonna press F, and it's gonna set that to F. Okay. Oh, so let's, with that, we're gonna do the IA interact. This one has the arrow on it. And we're going to just basically copy all of this, barring the look at part, and we also don't need that look at the end. So I'm gonna hit copy, paste, and I'm going to plug this in and line it up because I'm weird like that and have to have it lined up. So again, if the object that we interact with, whenever we press F or whatever key you guys set, it's going to draw a line and it's going to say, hey, we interacted with something. We are going to then tell that guy that we interacted with, that we hit, that we want to interact with it. So we're going to pull off of hit actor and we're going to say on interact, get the message. There it is. Plug this in. And again, we're going to get a reference to ourself and plug that in. Okay. That's all the coding we're going to do for today. Now let's get a couple more things set up and then this video will be over. We'll go to main, blueprints, and I want to make 2 blueprint classes. The first one will be type actor and it's going to be called BP_stand. And then another one, actor. I'm just going to call this BP_Simon, or you can call it Simon main, however you want to call it. And this will be where all the actual puzzle logic is, and the stand will have its own logic on how to light up and how to play its sound and turn off and all that good stuff. So I am going to open up the stand. We're going to add a static mesh, and I'm going to make this a type shape cylinder. Here it is. If you use the shape cylinder one, the pivot is right at the bottom so that whenever you place it in the world, nice and just perfectly on top of the ground. Really like that. So I'm going to scale down the cylinder really fast. I'm going to turn off my scale snapping, scale it down to about where I want it. And then I'm going to look at it from the top. I'm going to grab this bar between the X and Y, and I'm going to scale it out. And I'm going to check that in the world. That looks way too big because we're doing the stand and I thought we were doing the other thing. I'm dumb. We're going to do 1.5 on the X and 1.5 on the Y. And I'm going to actually make this a little bit thicker. Let's go about 0.1. 0.3. Yeah. 0.3 on the Z. Yeah, there we go. Then I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to take the new duplicated one. I'm going to scale it in using the big cube in the middle point. Raise this up. And then I'm going to scale it up. Turn off my snapping, my grid snapping there. And lower this inside of it a little bit. And then I'm going to click on self and we're going to get one more static mesh. This one will be a capsule. And I'm going to take the capsule, scale it up a little bit until it's about the size I want. Save. And that will be one of the stands. Okay, and then let's do the visuals for Simon. Simon, I will just add a static mesh. And we're going to get that shape cylinder again. For this one, I'm going to go about 2 on the X, 2 on the Y, and then 0.1 or 0.05, sorry, on the Z. And then I'm going to duplicate it. And this one's going to be about 0.5 X, Y, 0.5. And again, on the Z, it'll be fine. I know it's hard to see, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the first static mesh that we did. And I'm going to find this brick clay beveled, and there we go. Now we can see what's different. And you know what, maybe we'll just go 1 and 1 on that. 0.75 and 0.75. Cool. There is our Simon puzzle or Simon piece setup. Actually, one last thing, let's just go ahead and add this. We're gonna add a box collider or box collision. And we're just going to make sure that that is about the size we want it, which it already kind of is. Maybe just raise it up a little bit. And I want it just over top of this white piece here, basically indicating to the player, hey, that's like a button or something, go stand on it. And that's, I think is everything for today. We did make the material, yeah? Yeah, that should be everything for today, or for this video. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and start recording the next one. If you guys haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully I remember to put all of my new patrons on the screen up above. I don't remember your names. I'm sorry. I need to go look again. I know there's at least 2 of you now. So to both of you, or to all of you, if there's more at the time of recording this or later on in the future, thank you so much for being a patron. I'll see you guys next time.